Our top story this Friday, extreme weather continues to grip sections of the U.S. this week. A powerful spring blizzard is blamed for at least one death. Heavy snow is expected to fall on the northern plains and upper Midwest until today. More than 100 truck drivers were stranded at a South Dakota rest stop. The U.S. military is entering a new era. President Trump's transgender military ban is now in effect. This change comes nearly 2 years after President Trump tweeted that he wanted the ban. An exception to the rule, men and women can serve in their assigned birth sex or if they don't require a change of gender. Some say the ban will force transgender people to lie about their true selves. British police arrested WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange on Thursday. They dragged him out of Ecuador's embassy in London, ending his nearly 7-year stay there to avoid capture. An unsealed indictment revealed Assange faces a charge in the U.S. of conspiring to hack into a Pentagon computer network in 2010. His lawyer says he'll fight extradition efforts. Closer to home, MSU Billings is looking to make major changes in hopes of a stronger future. Administrators and faculty will consider phasing out 37 academic programs, but there's no plans to eliminate teachers. The plan is designed to better meet market demands and student needs. MSUB started the process in November, and the list of 37 is just the first phase. A list from the MSUB Strategic Program Alignment Committee shows 14 programs with 0 students. Some of those include Associate of Applied Science degrees for Medical Administrative Assistant and Power Plant Technology. 13 programs have just 1 or 2 students. Some programs have more students. There are 17 in pre-professional engineering and 8 in biology environmental science. School officials tell us the plans will not eliminate faculty, and Phase 3 will look at adding programs based on demand. A link with a list of potential program cuts can be found in this story at ktvq.com. A fatal train versus pedestrian accident is under investigation in Hardin. The Bighorn County Sheriff's Office was called to the tracks near Mitchell Avenue Wednesday night, shortly after 5 o'clock. There they discovered a deceased male. We're told the victim's relatives have not been contacted, so his identity is not being released. A Billings man now faces a felony robbery charge after holding up a local casino with a video game controller. 36-year-old Brandon Hodges is booked into the Yellowstone County Detention Facility for allegedly robbing the Lucky Lil's Casino on King Park Drive Wednesday morning. Police say Hodges held up a bag with a gun-shaped object in it and demanded money. Hodges later admitted to police that he used a PlayStation controller to make it appear like he was armed. He also told detectives he committed the robbery because he was frustrated with casinos because he has been losing a lot of money at them. The bill to continue Montana's Medicaid expansion program hit a roadblock in the state Senate on Thursday, and supporters may not have much time to repair the damage and get it back on track. MTM's Mike Dennison was there and explains what happened and what could be next.
A close vote was expected Thursday in the Senate on the bill reauthorizing Medicaid expansion, which provides government-funded health care for 96,000 low-income adults in Montana. And it didn't disappoint in that regard. It went down on a 25-25 tie, with all 25 no votes coming from Republicans. GOP opponents, including Senate President Scott Sales of Bozeman, said it's time to say no to programs that are bankrupting the country.
We talk a lot about future generations and investments in future generations, and this is going to be good for our kids, and this is going to be good for our grandkids. And I'm going to tell you what, this runaway spending that this bill promotes isn't good for those future generations. It's good for this generation. And to hell with the people that are going to pay the bill, which are my kids and my grandkids, and yours too.
Republican Senator Dee Brown, another opponent, spent more than 6 minutes reading off a list of payments to Montana hospitals for Medicaid expansion, $1.34 billion over the past 2 years.
I don't think that Medicaid expansion is about the health of Montanans. I think it's about the money going to hospitals.
Yet the bill isn't necessarily dead. Several Republicans who voted no have supported Medicaid expansion in the past. And earlier this week, some of them indicated they're withholding their vote until knowing whether an unrelated proposal will advance, the bill to help Northwestern Energy buy part of a coal strip power plant and transmission line. Supporters of the Medicaid bill have until Friday to ask the Senate to reconsider Thursday's vote and said that's what they intend to do. They also said the state can't afford to say no to Medicaid expansion, for it's done more than its share of good in the state since beginning in 2016.
This is going to help people go back to work. It's going to make people healthy again. It's going to get them off their addictions and able to once again function in society.
Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
And Mike tells us Medicaid expansion is a $700 million a year program with 90% of the money coming from the federal government. Montana lawmakers also killed a bill to build a new Montana Historical Society museum. The bill would have raised the state lodging tax from 3% to 4% and direct that extra money toward the museum and to grants for local historical sites across the state. But the State House Taxation Committee deadlocked Thursday morning and then voted to kill it. The State Historical Society has been trying for more than a decade to get the okay and funding for its proposed $48 million museum and heritage center in Helena. A Billings woman who stepped in to serve while others went to war is hoping to get honorary veteran status and be buried in the National Cemetery in Laurel. Last week, Montana Senator Steve Daines co-sponsored a bill to do just that. The Cadet Corps was a group of nurses who filled the labor gap left by nurses called overseas during World War II. Laura Coach Natvig served in the Corps from 1943 to 1946 at the Bob Wilson Naval Hospital in San Diego, California. Currently, cadet nurses do not get the benefit of being buried in a national cemetery. This bill is looking to change that.
I knew I was going to be a nurse before I even started to school in the first place. That was always from the time I was born, I think. I made up my mind I was going to be a nurse. Well, it'd be a blessing to be able to be buried, so I know where I'll be buried anyway.
Similar bills have been introduced since 1996, most recently in 2017. All of those bills did not make it out of committee. Well, this Monday, April 15th, is circled on a lot of calendars across the state and country. For most, it's because it's tax day, but for others, it's the start of spring black bear hunting season. So before anyone hits the woods, MTN's Andy Curtis finds out what new hunters need to know.
Hunting during the fall here in Montana gets a lot of the limelight. But spring in the Treasure State can also be a great opportunity to get outdoors and hunt some black bear.
We sell about 32,000 licenses a year. I mean, some of those come with a combination license that includes also deer and elk and upland birds. But then we also sell just separate licenses, and we sell about 19,000 of those a year.
There are a few steps, though, you'll have to take before heading out after one of these bruins. First, before purchasing your tag, everyone must pass an online bear identification course through Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. This helps hunters identify the difference between a legal black bear and a grizz. That's because the shade of the fur isn't always the best evidence.
Grizzly bears can come in all colors. You know, there can be real light ones and all the way to black ones. And black bears come in lots of different colors too. You know, we have quite a few, about 50% of the bears here in Montana are a brown or a red phase.
You'll also have to check and make sure that the bear is alone.
Take 20 minutes or half an hour if it's a lone bear to look at it to make sure there are no cubs there, because oftentimes cubs are not with their mother all the time. And sometimes it'll be 20 minutes, half an hour, maybe even longer before the cubs rejoin the mother. So be sure you know your target.
If you're lucky enough to harvest one, then your next step is to take it to an FWP regional office or warden. They'll check the sex of the animal and remove a tooth for aging, which is all crucial hunter-provided information for bear management. And just like any other time you are hunting in Montana, use caution and common sense. Wear hunter's orange, carry your bear spray, and tell someone where you're going. If you do all that, this time of the year can be a great time to be a hunter.
Spring bear hunting is a pretty cool thing to do. You can get out in the woods at a wonderful time of year and see all the things that the woods have to offer.
In Helena, Andy Curtis, MTN News.
Of course, bear meat is not for everyone, but if you do plan on eating any, Andy says make sure you cook it thoroughly to an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit to kill any possible parasites. And if you have any questions, play it safe and contact FWP. As spring snow keeps falling in the mountain ranges across Montana, a warning from experts if you're headed to the backcountry. Forest avalanche experts say the snowpack at lower elevations becomes more unstable as temperatures warm up and the top layer melts. The same applies for higher elevations where new snow and wind on the already frozen layer make conditions dangerous. Experts suggest the safest time to get out in the backcountry is early in the morning while it's still cold.
You leave the house and you're out and you go out skiing, if there's a supportable crust, things are safe. By the afternoon, that crust a lot of times melts, and so as soon as it melts and we're in all this wet snow, that means the avalanche danger is rising and we need to head on out of there.